You remember the show Everyone Hates Chris? Sounds like the life of somebody I know, but I think I found the Transformers equivalent. It's Everyone Hates Cliff Jumper! So this is a 4-pack, and we're going to skip right on in first with Tarn. What in Tarnation? So this is Tarn, but Cyberverse. I have one question about this deco. Why the Joker grin? Why? I mean, it's cool, I guess. Bit of a blood grin on your mask, but why? Anyway, the rest of the deco I actually like quite a lot. If we compare him to regular Tarn, the purple's brighter, the gunmetal is much more cool than the light gray, and I like the dark blue highlights. You do lose some bits of gold, like there's only some on the chest versus the knee pads and the feet, but you can't win them all. And unfortunately, the mask is kind of lost when his whole head is purple. I don't know. And I'm not sure which of these decos I actually plan to keep. Like, before I bought this set, I just planned to sell off this guy, because I already have now 3 of this mold. Interesting, 2 of them come with a sword. But the more I look at this guy, the more I kind of like him. And his sword is molded in solid purple plastic. Sure. The legendary Grape Saber. But like, both other versions of Tarn I've gotten have been better quality than this one. The one that was extremely hard to find. Don't really feel like I need to go over the articulation. It's the same we've had from Tarn and Bludgeon. Just need an even closer up shot of the grin. He really wants you to ask him how he got these scars. But, tank mode? It's about what you expect. Although, I think I like this color scheme more in this mode. Now that it doesn't have to super look like the character. And then, we got more tank. And Smorgas tank. Most tank. We got most tank. There are only so many times I can talk about this mold. But it's a cool color scheme. After that, me scuttle swiftly over to Tarantulas. And where the did this deco come from? Well, let me tell you. This was a beta, sort of like a test deco. The deco that didn't make it into the show. And I understand why, because what is this orange and gray monstrosity? I'm not a fan of the color scheme. The Kingdom / Legacy Tarantulas mold is good, but like, I have it in purple, and I also have the original toy, which I thought this was going to be more closer to this. I don't know. Just, the orange doesn't work for me. Like, it's just... eh. He's got articulated legs, a ball joint on each of them. And he comes with the same weapons, just in duller gray. Got nothing for these, but... Now we must terrorize in robot mode. And besides this horrible orange, the only other thing to talk about is he's got a new head sculpt. Which isn't really a new head sculpt. To throw back to this... Oh, wait. It's a throwback to that. Which I believe was actually given to Black Arachnia, a version of, like, that, but painted up in her colors. And they even half-assed the head. Like, it doesn't even have the regular head on the top, and it just has that for the back, the back half of this head. Like, they just glued a new face onto this head. And yeah, still not a fan of this, even in robot mode. But I appreciate the Predacon symbol on the thigh. Making it look like a sweet tattoo he got at some point. And I guess he can hold his dull gray weapon. And shoot flimsy lasers out. No, still not a fan. Next up in this set is the one who has the most differences. I can say, I've got cancer. This whole set was worth that one joke? Not really. But known as Cancer in Super God Master Force, this is Squeeze Play. I'm sure that's somebody's kink, a little bit of squeeze play. Now, I'm sure it's based off, like, the constellation Cancer, but it certainly is a thing. It is a weird crab monster, like, with giant pincers that open. Okay, so it's remolded from Titan's Return Mind Wipe. And that doesn't make it any less weird than it already is. This is the third time I've had this toy, one of them being Dracula's. I think of all three of this mold, none of them have been normal. He's coming to grab you. That head is the biggest new thing. Certainly, I don't know if it's more Cobra-esque with that part, but like, it doesn't have an articulated mouth like Mind Wipe or Dracula's. These legs are on ball joints. This one kind of loose. Maybe they're both kind of loose. And these arms, we'll talk about them in the other mode, but I guess, is that a collarbone joint? And that would be a shoulder joint? And you have that, which is a claw joint besides the other claw joint. It does have a tail. It's less of a tail and more of a plank. I'm sure you could also use it as a laser gun somehow. And these things on his back. have guns molded in, but neither mode I could figure out how to use them properly. So this guy is just weird, but, you know, you can buy the set and tell your friends, hey, I got cancer. I don't think the joke works a second time. Oh, and got a headmaster in his belly. Who has no face. Is just like a blank stormtrooper helmet. Like even less than a stormtrooper helmet. Like it's just a visor. It's like a pink motorcycle helmet. But, you know, that's accurate because it has no detail on its own whatsoever. And I'm sure Squeeze Play's headmaster has a name. Locos. Okay. Also, occasionally might be known as Crash Bash when they couldn't get access to the name Squeeze Play. Still Locos. Friggin', he's got the Doritos Locos Tacos of headmasters. But this is one of the reasons I wanted this set. But here is Squeeze Play in his robot mode, and oh my god. That couldn't be any less subtle. Like, it makes Mind Wipe look subtle. It's just a hook. But there are things I like about this robot mode. The chest panel having the speed, strength, intelligence, or the Sputstrint, as it's affectionately called. And he's got the square tail as kind of a buckler. Gives me a Hydra Captain America vibes. All hail Megatron. And his new feet actually having articulation. And his legs no longer being wraparound rubbery material. They actually are much more stable, I guess, than Mind Wipe. And I don't know if it's new, but in my head it's new that he has an ankle now. This mold finally gets to have an ankle. Because the foot isn't one massive platform that hinges back and forth on crappy material. And he's got these, which he's supposed to be able to wield or point forward as guns, which no, they don't. I'm sorry, but they don't. Like, that's as far as they go. They don't really. But he has an actual gun, and it's only frickin' Browning. This guy, like, sure, it's just his alt mode of Browning 1911. That's the only gun model that comes to mind. Molded in purple with a blast effect part, but like, it's the only representation of Browning we've had since the 80s. And Browning's kind of important because he comes from the same Micromaster Microchange, whatever it was, that spawned Megatron. Like, they were basically like racing for who would, I guess, become the leader of the Decepticons. Like, because that alt mode is so much better than the gun the Nazis used. And the robot mode is so much more put together than Megatron's original toy. It's like, he should have been what Megatron is. And maybe in some alternate timeline where things changed, he is. But, I don't know, it's just cool to have Browning. And it's weird seeing a Transformer with like a regular pistol. Like this gives me Captain America: The First Avenger vibes. Like when he's fighting in the war, like he just bursts into a place with a gun and his shield. Like that. That is what this gives me. And obviously the Headmaster. This time I find he is the most solid when his head is sideways. Like forwards or backwards, you get different types of. Like forwards, you get that looseness like that, and backwards, he just looks up way too much, just way too bobbly. But messing around with him, I think sideways gives you the most solidity. Yeah. I still really like the blue, kind of tan and pink. The color scheme is really nice. It really appeals to the too much pink energy is dangerous. That's always going through here amongst other things. But yeah. He's kind of cool. His head, even in sideways, doesn't really want to stay that well. Mind you, I just sent it flying. You can open up his chest to see more detail, if that does anything for you. The other one is Cliff. Now, I like Prime Cliff Jumper. Did you know that he was voiced by The Rock? Yes, I think we know that. And the term voiced is a bit loose given his first appearance was him being bifurcated. And we know they got The Rock just to say, hey, we have a famous actor doing our show now. Give us more money to work on it. Is a good enough reason, I guess. He also came back later in the show as a zombie. And who knows, maybe we can get a purple zombie Cliff Jumper repaint of this toy to represent that. Who knows? Yes, I think Cliff is the star of the set. He's a repaint. I don't know if he's anything remolded, but from a rescue bot that was released earlier in Legacy. I can't remember his name, but blue and white, and he was a cop. And this mold is so good, it almost makes me regret skipping that guy. Like, it's so clean. First off, the head is a Prime exclusive, and nice callback to it. Much different than his G1 head. It was in the other room. I sold my Prime Cliff Jumper when I got the Earthrise version, because I was at that point when I said to myself, I only need one version of a character. And while I still somewhat believe that, I'm also thinking, like, that's dumb. I just want to buy the toys I want to buy. So, this mold is very nice. It's the only one I haven't talked about from this set at all before, so... I like it. I do wish the shoulders weren't sort of jutting out as far as they do. Like, I wish they could have compacted into it, but you get kind of limited outward range on them, so yay. And you do have a tiny bit of kibble being these wings right here. But they only get in the way, like, right there and right there. Also, you got a bicep swivel. Your elbow bend is nice. Weirdly, he has an inward bending wrist. That's not for transformation. That's just odd. It's just odd. Your waist, it actually takes a piece of the back with it, so that's very nice. Oh, started transforming him. Hips can go all the way forward. They don't go back very far because they get blocked by that piece right there, but they can go outwards all the way. And your thigh swivel. It kind of looks like he has an upside down face on his knee, but that knee can bend 90 degrees, maybe a little bit more. 91. And you can almost see through his entire torso. Almost. But there is enough in there to make it look like he's got a nice skeleton with the car bits sort of on top of it. Especially when the front of the car is wrapped around his shins. But it gives you a wrong way ankle tilt. That's not how a foot works. But you do also have a tiny bit of bendward in the proper direction, along with a heel bend and no toe joint. So his ankles are kind of limited, but still, I think this mold is quite good. Chase, that was his name. Protectobot, like no rescue bots. Chase was the original version of this mold in a blue and white cop car deco. So I like Cliff himself. What I'm confused at are his accessories, because it ends up being this weird claw and these things that I guess are supposed to be guns but aren't really guns. Like he can hold them, sure, but they kind of look like black plastic megaphones. Like he'd hold it up to his mouth after his mic gets cut off and goes, "Can you hear me now?" Even though he doesn't quite have the articulation to reach. And then this thing. It can also separate into tentacles? I guess you could plug them into his guns. And maybe he can tickle a Decepticon? I'm struggling to find actual purpose for these things. And then this thing, well, it almost looks like it can be an engine block. But if it's not that weird, like, oh, can we? Not really. Like, there is play value. I'll give it that. There is play value, but it's kind of confusing. I'm not sure what to do with it. I don't know, maybe I'm trying to form, like, maybe get two of this thing and put them together and have some weird crab thing? No, that's a weird crab thing. I don't know. I feel like the design for this went wrong somewhere. Like they had an idea that just didn't get fully developed. I don't know. But now we shall transform Cliff Jumper. So, fold the chest, rotate the head, and then fold the backpack, and that part will just go over it. We can rotate the shoulders and move them down. they'll go right here. But not yet, because I'm getting too ahead of myself. Come to the shins, and we're going to unlatch. Which way is unlatch? Unlatch is from that side, and then it also folds out. And then the foot is going to fold in, and at the same time, that little piece is going to fold down to provide the front of the car. And then you want to rotate it so that tab is inside, and then do the same thing on the other side. And you can extend them and then tab them in like thus, and make sure they're front. And you want to bring the hips all the way forward and maybe get the arms out of the way. But you want to make sure the chest panel is under this so it all lines up, and then bring the arms back in, and they're going to tab in to all the sides, and also come on, there we go. That the wing will go in right there. Do the same on the other side. Wait, can the fists... Let's test a theory. Can the fists hinge in? Nope. There's no room in there. So that wrist joint is effectively useless, because who's going to use it in robot mode, and provides nothing in the transformation. But we're done. Here you have a nice muscle car. It's a far cry from G1 Cliffjumper's squished up little Porsche. It is a pretty sweet ride. I appreciate the horns on the front, flavor and consistency. And what I really love about that transformation is he's a kind of squat robot, but then he elongates to compact right back in a slightly different way. Like that leg stretch and then swish is kind of cool. And he has freaking double exhausts, because it's a muscle car. It's gonna burn some rubber. It's gonna need all that exhaust. So what can you do with this thing? Probably plug it in. Can it even actually fit? Because there's a port right here. And there are ports on each side, right? 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0. These guns are in the way. Now can we... It'll fit there. It'll fit there. But can it... You can still put the pincers, tentacles. God dang it. I don't know what it's doing, but maybe it needs more exhausts? Use these things as more exhaust? As afterburners for... I don't know. I don't know, but I know that I like it because it's cool. Muscle cars are cool. They're not a lot in Transformers. And I think this was a pretty cool redesign of Cliffjumper. Minus the whole being dead thing. So, this 4-pack, Everybody Hates Cliff. It's a hard recommendation, but like, maybe you don't have any of these molds, and you like the color scheme of Tarn or Tarantulas, and if you like the color scheme of that Tarantulas, you're well, I'm not going to judge, but you're definitely wrong. And can't Squeeze Play. Squeeze Play's cool too. Here he is transformed back into his beast mode. So these two, I think, made me want it. And then the other two were like, I might sell them because I already have them. So it's like, I'm willing to eat the cost for two toys. I wanted to get two toys I didn't want, but one of them kind of grew on me more than I expected. And I want to know from you guys, which version of Tarn do you think I should sell? Which one do you like more? Which Tarn is your favorite? I'm of two minds, because the original deco is being re-released, but also the Cyberverse one is cooler. Let me know in the comment section down below. And until next time, Car versus Crab, who wins? Oh, explosion! Keep it weird. Bye.